Hey guys, welcome to Cards and Sharps. Got a sharp object here for you to look at. This is the Kershaw blend. This is one one of theirs I have not seen or heard much about. Was recently at a gun and knife show and seen this one. Looking through some Kershaw knives and seen one here that I had not noticed before. And one, I have not seen it for sale on Blade HQ or anything like that, and don't believe I've seen any videos on it or anything like that, so didn't know what to expect. These are about a somewhere between $25 and $30 knives usually, from what I've been able to find, and that's about what I gave for it, about 25 or so. And this is Kershaw blend, it's called, and it's pretty typical in that price range. 8CR 13 MOV spear point. Another familiar, it's kind of got that familiar Kershaw look to it. A little bigger than some of the Kershaw knives. This is a black wash oxide finish, so it's a black wash that's kind of got a little wear look to it. Kind of gives you that like it's been around the block. And typical Kershaw speed safe assisted opening, and has pretty nice action as you expect from it's got these thumb studs that you can use, but why? Really don't know why you would. As I found with the other knives with the speed safe, getting past that initial detent is so hard that you know you're going to tear your thumbs up trying to do it. This one is a frame lock. And kind of what I find with a lot of the Kershaw frame locks, it does feel a little sharp, not quite as comfortable as some of them, but still easy enough to operate one-handed with a little manipulation there. And you see I got a Band-Aid. Just a hazard of daily dealing with, handling, fidgeting, trying out knives. Not unusual to get nicked up a little bit. That's why if you check out a previous video I have done, my wife got me cut-proof gloves for Christmas, and she would be telling me I should be wearing them now. Alright, what else we got here? 4.5 inches closed, and it is 7.87 overall length. It's that blade you're about 3.5 inches on that blade. You can see there on my little graph. So for those of you in the 3-inch world where you can't carry this one, it's not going to work for you there. It's a fairly heavy knife, 4.6 ounces. It's because it's a stainless steel handle. It's not just framed with the scales, it's actually stainless steel. And it's got these grooves and design cut in there to give you some grip. So it feels a good grip in the hand, good length, fits my hand really nice. Feels like you got a nice grip, the shoaling area here, and that the way the flipper tab comes down there, you feel like you have a really good firm hold of it. It's a fairly thin knife. Specs were not the easiest thing in the world to come by here. Let's grab the calipers out and see exactly some of the measurements that are not showing. Alright, the blade stock is going to be fairly thin for this size of knife, 0.107. I think most knives run in that 0.12 range. The thickness of the handle here is, go here at the widest point, 0.35. So that is, you can't really see it probably there. It's a fairly thin, and it feels thin. It's a nice thin knife. So it kind of, what it does is the way your hand closes on it, you forget that weight is as heavy as it feels like it is. So really not that, you know, down in your pocket you may feel the weight there, but actually once you have it in your hand, you don't really notice a lot of weight. It just feels like a pretty good solid knife. A couple other things to look at. You got a deep carry clip, but it is going to be tip down only. It does not move left or right, and it is not no way to move it down to a tip up carry, which is my preferred, and many of you folks out there's preferred carry method. So that may be a disqualifier to a lot of you. It's not necessarily to me. It depends on the knife. Most knives I have and keep are going to either be movable or it's going to be tip up only. But I do have a few that are tip down because I really like the knife that much that I'm willing to overlook that. As far as the speed safe action, it's not overly stiff to get the initial. It doesn't take as much power as you know, and that's the thing with Kershaw. I'd like to see a little more consistency in their products. You get two different knives, you're going to get two different amounts of pressure it's going to take to open it up. You're going to get a little different. This one, it's not a knife I'd say you'd want to just sit and fidget with, because that is there's no jimping, and it's kind of sharp, right, pointy, not sharp, cutting sharp, but just pointy right there. So it's kind of once or twice, you know, it's not a big deal. But here, as many times I've opened it here, and opened it, hit me with it, it has become a little painful to operate. And same with the, I'm going to say the same with the liner lock. There's no jimping in there, but there's also this little sharp edge, so you feel it when you, I mean, it's pretty stiff. There's no over travel tab or anything like that in there, so they prevent the over travel, I guess, by just having it be so stiff. Which this kind of some of the things you see in the knives from Kershaw that are going to be in the lower price ranges, especially when you get that much knife, that big a knife. They're going to skimp here and there. It's actually more comfortable to grab it this way and two-hand it to close it than it is to get your thumb in there. Just to compare it to a knife I've done recently, this is CRKT that's in that same price range, and they got a little groove in there, and then also where it keeps it from being sharp, and it also just moves easier, and they have the over travel tab so they're able to make it not be so stiff, but yet not have to worry about the frame spreading out. So all in all, it's a $25 knife, and it's I'd say it's worth that. You know, a lot of knives in that price range, and this one feels pretty typical of Kershaw in that range. Blade centering's good, lockup's good and tight, and there's no play in the blade, so you're getting good quality with the, and then they keep the price point down by just not over refining things like the liner lock and flipper tabs, things like that. Otherwise, there's no sharp areas in the frame. That's finished nicely, and it's not sharp. Doesn't really don't feel any hot points, hot spots in there or anything. So if you're looking for a knife in that, and I have seen these in the right around the $20 range. So that you might be able to pick these up for around $20. So if you can, then it's I think it's going to be a good value at that. Gives you a nice substantial knife that is sturdy enough to be used for a lot of things, and that nice thinness to it should make it fairly pocket friendly, despite it being not a little knife. And just to compare it size wise, let's look at it next to a couple other knives. There's next to the Delica, and you can see it's quite a bit more knife than the Delica is, and also a lot more weight. It's going to be closer size range to the Rat 1, not as big as the Rat 1, and probably around the same weight. So if you carry a Rat 1, then you'd be able to carry the blend without much issues. And actually, it's quite a bit. Here, the biggest comparison is the thickness. You can see it's noticeably thinner than the quite a bit thinner than the thickness of the scale, thinner than a Rat 1 is. So if that is a point in which you like, then you'd really enjoy that. I like a thin knife, and it like I said, it feels good in the hand and all that. But just too many things here going against it for my personal taste as far as something I would carry. It's good. I think it's a good value as far as what you get for the money. Just comes down to preference. Got a nice big lanyard, hold here, open back. Strike one for me is going to be that flipper tab. I'd like to see some jimping on there so that you get a good grip without it, your finger wanting to slide up and run across that pretty pointed edge, which like I said, after a few flips will become somewhat painful. And the same thing with the liner lock. That's the sharpest edge on this frame, is right there where that liner lock is. And once or twice it's okay, but after 2 or 3 times, start feeling pretty sore on the end of your finger sliding that over. So like I said, it's a lot more comfortable to do that, close it two-handed like that. So that's a big strike. Another one is the tip down carry only. Do love the deep carry clip, but being tip down only just kind of is a negative for me. Like I said, if it's just a knife that otherwise I just really love, and it also puts that, the one thing about it, the tip down, is it does put the clip a lot of times, and if they design it right, that almost makes it disappear in your hand. You don't notice it. You do not feel that clip when you're gripping this knife in a usable way. But still, for carrying, I'd prefer that be tip up, just the way I am and the way I'm used to carrying. But otherwise, it's a little heavy for my taste. even for the size. But good and sharp out of the box, and seems to be well put together, and everything works the way it should. So again, it is what it is. It's a lesser expensive knife, not even Kershaw realm. Is it a pricey knife? So it'd be good entry level knife for you guys that are just getting started in the knives, and it would be a good one for daily carry, and also even in it's got a good size for defensive use or anything like that. And with the speed safe, you know, it is a quick deploy, so I'm not just going to say that it wouldn't serve a lot of people well, but I think as you get mature in your knife collecting and all that, this is not probably going to be one that you would consider being a go-to everyday knife. Alright guys, that is it for the Kershaw blend. Let me know what you think. If you've tried this knife, you think I'm full of beans, you love it, hate it, love to hear from you, and we'll see you guys next time.